bumblebee.
All right.
The nest. Over. Yeah, nah.
You got a $2 bill as change, right?
That's changed. Best thing that's happened all day, all week, all year.
So what happens sometimes on these trips is when I'm focused on a really important speech, I just don't have time or the mental focus to be able to film everything and get all the shots and the B-roll and that kind of stuff. We'll probably get better vlog stuff happening after I'm done with the presentation, when I can kind of breathe. And in the meantime, Nevin has headed off because he forgot to bring Claritin and he was just like blowing up. So he's headed off into town to find a Rite Aid. How was the Claritin? Is it working?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna have to stop vlogging so I can make this camera for photography and not for vlogging. So we're probably gonna pick up the vlog after the speech. I don't tend to vlog much when we're doing speeches. What are you doing in the background?
Nothing.
Are there things happening in the background? Much. I'll find out in post. I'm the one who edits it. Breakfast was good. We did breakfast in the hotel.
Yeah,
Did
the
they care about
buffet was
breakfast?
pretty good.
That's right. You were so excited. Oh god, one of them. They remarked to me about how excited you looked at the buffet. But they all work. They all work with college students all day, and you are like who they work with all day. And so they're like, oh yeah, so we saw him at the buffet, and he was just like, so much food. And you didn't even get them. We got the buffet, and then you got like a couple of little things.
I got a bagel, I got some oatmeal, some tater tots.
You got all the
I had
carbs.
variety. I had variety.
No, you didn't. You got all the carbs. You got a bagel, you got French toast, we did that, and then I gave the kickoff keynote at noon.
And I think that idea where you were talking about just earlier, I heard you talk about the crossroads, that I think that we are at a crossroads as people trying to help young people, teens and young adults, and I think that they're at a crossroads as well, and I think we can all feel it. I think that's really, really true. Because I know for myself, when I started college, by the way, graduate of SUNY Oneonta, so SUNY system, they didn't know that when they called me. So when I started college, so many of my friends were going in to get a business degree. Not because they wanted it, not because they liked it, didn't even know what it meant, but when I was going to college, they had been told at that time that a business degree guaranteed you a job and a six-figure income by the age of 30. And that was true. And I was in college when the Great Recession happened. Great Recession hit in the middle of college, and by the time we graduated, for 4 years, while all my friends were getting these fancy degrees that were gonna guarantee them a job, guarantee them an internship, I had to answer to everyone in my life why I was getting a philosophy degree. Everybody said, why are you, exactly, right? Why, what are you gonna do with that? What are you gonna do? I didn't know, I hadn't even thought about it. I didn't know what I wanted to do with that. I knew I loved philosophy, I loved how it made me think, I loved that it taught me to question. I liked it. And 4 years later, when we graduated and the Great Recession was now in full swing, all my friends with their fancy business degrees, they were working at Starbucks, they were working at McDonald's, they couldn't find a job. They didn't like their degree, didn't know what to do with themselves. The journey, the map, it changed so much in 4 years. And me, philosophy degree doing card tricks for a living. Making six figures by the age of 30, put my wife through her master's, and my friends were working at Starbucks with their business degrees. The map changes, the journey shifts, and we have to be aware of that. And I think that what it used to be is that it was all who you know. I grew up hearing that, and I'm sure many of you heard that. It's all who you know. It's all who you know. And then for a while, it's all your degree. It's the piece of paper. Whatever that thing says, that's the thing that matters. And I think what we're entering now, what we've already started, what matters for your students, what matters for us, it's not who you know, it's not the piece of paper, it's who you meet. It's the relationships you have with the people you meet along the journey that are going to help you find your way and make that path. And that's what we're talking about today.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
It was really, really well received. The feedback has been extraordinary. I've got a lot of spin-off stuff. Yeah, what were you gonna say?
Yeah. Oh, I got some great photos.
Oh, yeah.
Professional photos.
So One of the primary reasons that I had Nevin with me is because the conference told me about a week in advance that it was actually a last minute call to Nevin to come. I wasn't going to have him come originally because it didn't feel like a thing that he was going to enjoy being at, because I was just going to be working the whole time. And you saw that. I did more, just because you were there, I did more exploring of the town than I actually would have if I were by myself. I would not have been doing that. They had told me about a week in advance that they were not going to have a professional photographer. Most conferences, especially big annual conferences, they've hired a photographer so that they get photos for their website. As a speaker, or if you're a magician, as a performer, you get to reach out to the photographer and say, hey, basically, you were already there, you already got paid by the conference, you know, any chance you can toss me 3 or 4 of the photos you took of me that I can use for my promo? 95% of the time, they just say, sure, no problem. They toss you your photos and they just say, credit me if you can. In the internet age, in the social media age, if there's no photos, it didn't happen. So I asked Nevin to come so we could take photos and also kind of run my camera at the same time. You did a ton of stuff at the same time. He ran my video camera at the back of the room, sometimes zoomed in, zoomed out, panned a little bit so that it wasn't just a static camera, which is really great for me for video. But he also ran around the room at different angles and I think he took like 200 photos over the course of,
oh wow.
Yeah, it was somewhere in the range of 200 photos over the course of 90 minutes. We had fun that day, right? I got out of my suit and we went out for a few hours and then came back and we changed back into nice clothes to rejoin the conference. Kind of snuck out into the town. So the presentation was a huge success. It went really, really well. I changed into jeans, came back out into town, got some food, got some lunch. Lunch was fine. It looked like it was gonna be kind of like a dive bar with really good food. Turns out it was a dive bar with bad food. We found a bookstore. Hello. There he is. We found a bookstore.
We did.
With specialty playing cards and
miniature.
Tiny little miniature packs of cards. Two magicians couldn't pass that up. And what did you just find?
I found
This is a library. Now we're at a library.
this is a really old copy of Gulliver's Travels.
Yeah, get
And
closer because the mic is bad for this.
So the bookstore, employees, they were so excited that I grabbed it because they wrote on it free because it was found in the attic and they wanted it to be freed from the attic, which is probably part of the story is what I'm assuming. I haven't read the book yet.
We didn't buy any books at the bookstore. He bought books at the library. So he came to the place where they're free and bought books. So this ends in sadness.
Hello, darkness.
Why does this story end in sadness?
I bought 3 decks. I left them in the hotel room.
He left 3 of the 4, right?
No, I left 4 because I brought a specialty Z deck with me, and I left it with those ones.
Oh, geez, I didn't even know that.
And I traded that specialty Z deck for a less quality specialty deck.
But until you lost them, it was very exciting.
Oh yeah. We went to this really cool movie theater.
Oh, yeah.
And like it was so old fashioned. You walk in and there's only like 4 theaters. Our theater was to the right and upstairs. So as soon as you walked upstairs, you were straight into the theater. Like there was nowhere else to go. The theater was small. And we watched 1 commercial before we watched our movie, which was phenomenal. People
have bigger screens in their homes now. It was crazy. It was a movie. It probably only fit 40 people in the actual theater. Oh man, you should see, I haven't even showed you so many of the photos I took when we were out bouncing around. We found that cool coffee place.
Oh yeah, I
and
love
sat
that
on this
place,
little
yeah.
boat. We had a little romantic getaway. Lindsay's looking at photos I'm sending her and she's like, you're coming home, right? I got there's like candids of you that I literally, this is gonna sound ridiculous. I was taking them just because I was curious about the light with my camera in that moment. I was like kind of just testing like, oh, I wonder if I could get a good shot. But there's like ones of you like looking out over the lake where you look like a model. I gotta give them to you. I feel weird that I have those photos on my computer. You should just take them.
Your new background.
Every photo of me looks like this. Good trip, and I'm dealing with a lot of follow-up, and there's a potential because 10 to 15 of the schools and universities who saw me speak there that have already reached out and are trying to bring me in to work with their students this fall. So they're working with my agency right now to try to make that happen. All of the folks from the committee were so excited that you were there. They were so excited to try to help Nevin work out getting an internship with me where he can actually get credits for the time he spends with me anyway, and then learn a little bit more about the business and some of that stuff. But they're so pumped that if they can set up this tour this fall, they wanted you to come with. They're like, you're gonna come with? And I'm like, well, he would have to get out of school for like 2 or 3 weeks. Like, he's going into his senior year. And they're like, oh yeah, we can arrange the paperwork so he gets credit for coming with it. Then his professors will have to let him out for it. And he was like, gold.
Listen, I have my people contact your people, and then I'm not gonna be in class, so.
Anyway, look, Nevin has these fancy teal cards, which are, actually these are close to the teal of my business. I should get cards.
You know I got this at Walmart. It's simple enough.
I like that. Name a card. Two diamonds?
Clubs.
All right. So it'll be the, just like, one-handed production. Oh, this is kind of fancy. Yeah, it's kind of fancy, right?
Yeah.
We haven't signed up. Thanks so much for sticking with me, and always remember that our world
It's a shared experience.
you missed completely.
Oh.
I missed completely.
Oh man.
All right. I can't believe you just did that.
Believe it.